We've all seen it. Top players landing the most ridiculous jumps of all time, and in this jump farm meta, we are seeing it become the norm. Well, actually we're kind of diverging towards a speed farm meta here in 2021, but that's besides the point. We're even seeing our first few 10-star FCs on unranked jump maps, some being particularly questionable, but others being particularly impressive. So it's inevitable that you might have taken them as inspiration, and you might want to have aim as good as theirs, snapping onto circles that are entire planets apart from each other like an absolute machine. Well, how might you do it? What's the process like? Unfortunately, I'm not here to guarantee that you'll be FCing Goodbye Moonmen within the next 24 hours.
Okay, this is expensive.
I'm here to give you a bit of an insight on how aim actually works, discussing it from different perspectives which might eventually lead you to getting better at aim. Osu is a pretty unique rhythm game, such that it has the element of aim dictated by cursor movement. But aim isn't just about the jumps, it's about aiming patterns. It could be awkward patterns, alternating patterns, or even streams. You'll need aim for everything that you ever do. And actually, I'm not here to just talk about how you can get better at jumps. I'm here to explore some concepts that can help you achieve more consistent aim, more snappy aim, and a lot more in this series of videos. Again, you may have a lot of questions, drop them down in the comments and be patient. Topics like the possible use for relax, easy, low AR, and an explanation on float aim, as well as many other topics, are going to be covered in this series. So be sure to like the video and subscribe if you're interested. Also, I'm sorry to say that this video might not meet the needs of, say, the stream 1 tricks or the consistency 1 tricks. They can play everything else perfectly fine, but suck ass on the jumps. There's a video dedicated just for you people, so look out for that. But for now, I want to talk about the core principles of aim. Timestamps are on screen right now and in the description below, so without further ado, let's jump straight into just that. Now, I know you're probably eager to get straight into the 10-star jump maps, but just as I did in my stream guide, it's always important to start from the basics and work up from there. Much like streams and pretty much every skill in Osu, it will take hundreds of hours to learn, hundreds more to master. And you can't just jump straight into Goodbye Moonmen and retry it 5 billion times in hopes you accidentally land one of the jumps. You have to start from the bottom and grind to the top. The concept I'm about to show you is obviously from my subjective understanding. There is no conventional Osu dictionary after all. I like to split the actual concept of aim into 2 main categories, reading and raw aim. Reading corresponds to 99% of aim, raw aim corresponds to just 1%. So whenever someone asks me what is aim, I'll just answer 99% reading, 1% raw aim. What is raw aim? The ability to move the cursor from one place to another. It can be determined by physical things, such as your ability to move your arm or wrist or fingers, or feet, I guess. It can be determined by what peripherals you use and the quality of them. We have tablet players, mouse players, touchscreen players, and probably more that I can't be asked to name. It can also be determined by the software, which dictates how your physical movement is translated onto the computer. We have tablet drivers to choose your area, to choose your smoothing filters. We have mouse configuration settings, to choose your DPI and to choose your sensitivity. We also have resolution options. The smaller the screen, the less you have to move your pen or mouse or your fingers. They all correlate to your raw aim. There's so much going on behind your raw aim, yet it only corresponds to 1% of your actual aim. Okay, so why is that then? Well, let's move on to reading and hopefully you'll see why fairly soon. What is reading? It's quite a vague topic actually, and no, it's not just, oh, it's looking at the circles on the screen. No, it's not. If it was as simple as that, then anyone could FC a map just by looking at a pattern. In summary, it's the ability to use your vision, pattern recognition and game knowledge to interpret the rhythm and flow of a pattern, with good control. That's a lot of words. This in turn will allow you to hit patterns. It's the same concept that Digital Hypno portrays for the term pattern processing. Go ahead and watch Digital Hypno's video to better understand reading, because it's a very complex topic. I'm not going to break it down fully here, so you might think,
oh, this 10-star map is really easy. I can aim the jumps but I just can't tap it.
But is that really the case? Is it really that quote-unquote easy then? If you can't tap it and follow the rhythm, then you aren't reading it at all. You aren't able to interpret the rhythm and flow of the pattern. Welcome to reality, that is, you are overestimating your ability without appreciating the hundreds of hours that top players have actually put in perfecting their game knowledge and rhythm sense amongst everything else to actually learn how to land such patterns. It was never as simple as looking at a pattern. Reading is not exactly something that can be measured either, yet such a vague concept corresponds to 99% of your actual aim. Well, by your basic intuition, from my concept it seems that to improve your aim, you must improve your reading. There's practically no point in improving your raw aim if it only corresponds to 1%. Some players might have found that the switch to tablet has just significantly boosted their aim potential, but that's only their potential. They might see a short-term improvement, but it just became that much easier to move to each circle without mouse drift, alongside the removal of relative aim. That's it. These correlate to raw aim. You haven't necessarily improved your reading. Another example on raw aim. You might be global elite on CSGO, or even rank S on ESEA. You might be an aim prodigy on any other game, but you won't get a direct translation of that aim onto OSU. Well, there's the 3D versus 2D aim topic of course, but what I'm getting at is, you won't get a direct translation because you'll lack reading. You know, I was about to say that games like CSGO are going to be a majority reaction time, but now that I think more about it, is that really the case? Sure, you can have fast as fuck reaction times, but if you're going to randomly flick and pray that you land shots, then how are you going to land headshots consistently? You need a sense of control, a sense of patience, a sense of focus. For CSGO, the control might just be the micro adjustments after using your reaction times and raw aim knowledge. The patience and focus will come from game sense, stuff like crosshair placements, recoil control and using sound cues, but that's all built on time and experience. I think that actually, 3D aim is still mostly some form of reading, not interpreting rhythm per se, but rather using those three elements to achieve consistent headshots. More importantly though, I can provide the exact same analogy for OSU. Your OSU aim is 99% reading, which involves again the same three elements, and now we start to realise why raw aim only corresponds to only 1% of your aim, because the other 99% is all related to exactly how you use that raw aim. Controlling your aim takes 99% of the work. It explains why so many top players can switch playstyles, or they play with quote unquote bad peripherals, and they can still do the same crazy shit, because it's not the peripherals that determine their ability, it's their reading. The jump one tricks, a classic topic on my channel. Why the hell do they suck so much at everything else apart from jumps? Well, first of all, they've obviously just played jump maps, but the reason why it's so enticing to them is that they're only using their raw aim and reaction times. Reaction time is a subcomponent to reading, since everyone needs to react to a circle appearing on the screen within a given time frame. But that's the only thing they'll ever use in their reading skill. They'll just flick and pray the cursor lands on the circle. In fact, it's in their favour for these kinds of players to one-trick jump maps. With their lack of general reading and only reaction times, the high approach rate, low density and shitty mapping means that they can indeed cheese their way past these jumps because it coincidentally matches the way they play the game, a reaction clicking game. Guys, this isn't don'ttap.com, this is OSU, this is a rhythm game. Wait, what the fuck is this? Where is this cited from? And it's from Ninja Fortnite. Nah, I'm done. I'm actually done. You need aim, but you also need rhythm. There are more skills to OSU than just jumps, so let's actually take this concept of reading and reaction time and deconstruct it to better understand how to get consistent aim. I want to talk about snappiness first actually, which is related to consistent aim. You can throw things like, oh, mouse players snap more, drag players snap more, etc. and yeah, that's all true. But as always, I want to dive into something much deeper than that. I want to talk about how you can get snappier aim no matter what peripherals you're using or what setup you're using. Snap aim, the ability to traverse and aim patterns with a strong sense of control, precision and sharpness. The opposite of flow aim, which I'll define in another video. I see lots of people requesting how to get snappier aim, and well, here you are. Those people without snappy aim are probably aiming patterns just like this, but they'd like to instead follow more closely the path defined by the pattern, sharp and linear motion. I mean, don't get me wrong, they've still landed the pattern, but it's not consistent. most likely with bad accuracy as well. On the other hand, snappy aim more closely follows the pattern. It's more consistent than praying you land them with other forms of aim. By looking at this pattern just as a shape, your raw aim overtakes your reading. Your physical movement traces your view of the pattern just from instinct and without control. To change this, it's quite simple actually. You read the notes individually.
That's how you read notes that are tough to aim. No matter how they're structured, you read them like 1-2 jumps.
Wowie has described it as reading the squares as 1-2s. In that respect, it explains why 1-2 jumps are so easy to hit. The mapper has manipulated it in your favour by allowing you to trust your instinct, just looking at the pattern and acknowledging its existence. And in the case of 1-2s, it's just a bunch of lines you can follow. It's easy to trace. Read the notes individually. It's the reason why a player like Rohawk is known for his consistency, because he does exactly that. It looks funny, but it works, and that kind of begs the question, well, is the way you interpret patterns really preferential at all? And I'm basically about to say that actually, reading notes individually instead of an entire shape is objectively advantageous in a lot of cases. If we took this pattern as an example, the first thing we immediately notice is that it's a square. The preemptive thought that it's a square may lead you to trace a square all in one motion, just from instinct and reaction. But if you just avoid the fact that it's a square, and instead focus on each individual circle, in order, one at a time, then you aren't tracing a shape anymore, you are creating it. It's like you've broken down the shape into multiple components and have connected them to form that shape. Snap aim has been achieved, and it's all because of greater control, greater patience and greater focus. All of these elements have been applied to form this type of aim, and that is exactly how you should aim your patterns. Holy shit! Well done, Captain Obvious. Honestly, Tony, thank you for your contribution. Thank you. And well, yeah, I did just state the obvious. But the obvious is so easily discarded by your ego that it's forgotten, to the point where aim becomes RNG flicking your wrist and not through good control, patience and focus. I have made the exact same mistake myself. This applies to any pattern, whether it be triangles, hexagons, tech patterns, and even some streams. But obviously for most streams you can't just read notes individually. There's so many notes coming up all at once and so quickly. For that reason, you can't snap aim on streams, and so you resort to flow aim, which has a lot more fluid motion. And this kind of individual note reading can be maintained and can be practiced. You'll see it from so many top tier aim players playing easy or easy DT. Though my talk on easy and low AR with relation to aim is reserved for another part to this series. So I said that individual note reading is a key component to getting snappier and more consistent aim, but the reality is that it's hard to apply for every single pattern that you ever do. You can't exactly tunnel vision onto every single circle perfectly, in fast cross-screen jumps for example. You'd probably go fucking cross-eyed. And there are cases where muscle memory takes over your individual note reading, because you've played a map 1000 times for example. You know patterns ahead of time already. So the general idea is that the application of individual note reading and muscle memory is variable. If you're sight reading, then you'll probably need a majority of individual note reading. If you're playing a map that you know already, then muscle memory might become a majority instead. But the idea I want you to take away from today is to not forget about individual note reading in any case, because you'll need it for a sense of patience, control and focus, which all ties into general reading. So there we have it. It turns out that aim is a lot more complicated than one might have initially thought. To improve your aim, or at least achieve snappier and more consistent aim, you need to improve your reading. In a simple respect, it's to build a greater sense of control, a greater sense of patience and focus of the patterns by interpreting them in a different way, and that's by reading notes individually, not as an entire shape. For most of you on my channel, you may already be reading like this because that's what you'll naturally do when you're new to the game. But let this video serve as a reminder for whenever you stray away from this type of reading. Ego gets to everyone, including myself. For some it's just that simple and this video was a reminder, and now you'll improve fairly quickly. For some it will take a long time to train and practice. For others they might already read like this, despite playing for a long time, and they might wish to expand on this reading ability a lot more. That's where low AR and easy comes in, and I'll talk about that in another video, along with many other topics. Most of you now might be asking, okay, well you gave me this much information, how do I put it into practice? Where are the map packs? Stay tuned, I am dedicating a whole video on how you make use of this knowledge in practice. This is just an introduction, so if you found this video informational, hit that like button, and if you love informational videos, hit that subscribe button. Thank you all so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again soon in the next video. Peace.